1. Yay! We are live and in living colors.
Nice.
So it's Heneka Watkis-Porter live. And I will not introduce my guest until we know that we have hit 6 o'clock and that persons have started to come on.
The question for you, how I share it this?
How you share it?
Will it go share?
So because we're going to be on Jamaicans.com in a bit, right? So you can go from the Jamaicans.com page, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, let me try and do that too while we await our awesome people to come on board. We can do some sharing, right? Let me share it because I actually set it to. So although we're live, we're not actually live until 6 o'clock.
Okay, got it. It's showing up on Jamaicans.com's Facebook page right now, though.
Say again?
It's on Jamaicans.com's Facebook page right now.
Yeah. Well, there's a countdown. Well, the thing is, though, I don't know if we are. Yeah, we actually are live, so I don't understand what's going on because I had to do another link, and I already have on. I had to create another link, and so I don't know if the countdown, if we're having 2 lives. I'm not sure. I'm still trying to figure this app out, but already we have 22 persons viewing. I'm seeing on my screen here. So persons watching us, if you can just give a shout out, let us know who you are, where you're from, where you're watching us from. We are going to be starting officially in just a few seconds, like less than 5 seconds. Right. So let's see. Okay.
I'm just going ahead and sharing it with my world.
Yeah, okay. We have His Queen Trina. She is from the USA. Hi, welcome. And so, okay, this live video should start soon. Okay, why is it saying should start soon? Because we are already live on Jamaicans.com. I still am a little technically challenged. Let me just refresh and see what's happening. Because we should be live on that page. So give me 1 second while I just confirm what is actually going on. We should be live. I'm just going on the page to check what is happening. Let me just ask Trino. Oh, Andrew is from Boncar is from Dallas, Texas. Hello, you're live. We can see you. Yes, Tony, thank you so much. Are you on the Jamaicans.com page? Let me know if that's where you're watching us from because I'm trying to sort out my technical issues here. Missy, Holtzclaw, West Virginia. Thank you so much for joining us. Gregory, Nassau, Bahamas. Yes, we're hearing you nice and clear. Akila says that. Calvin, Tallahassee is in the house. That's so good. All righty. So are you guys on the Jamaicans.com page? We're doing fine, Eliman. We're doing fine. I'll soon introduce my guests, okay? Just give me a couple moments here. Let me just figure out my technical issues. Yes, we are on the Jamaicans.com page live. Yay! Yes, we are. We're live over there. Awesome sauce. So do us a favor, all my friends here who are watching us. If you just share that we're on, just tag a friend or 2. Let them know that we're here and we are ready to go with Heneka Watkis-Porter live on Jamaicans.com. And of course, with me is Stephen Hart. And I'm so happy to have Stephen on this week as we are going to go all up in his business, and he's going to be sharing with us why the heck he left Jamaica and what in the world is he doing in the United States of America. Yes, Elliman, you like Reggae Marley. Okay, I suppose that is Bob Marley. That's fine. We work with it. We get you. We feel you. All right. So, Stephen, welcome, my friend and brother and fellow podcaster. But before I spill the bean, I want you to spill the bean. Welcome to Heneka Watkis-Porter Live.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes. Say again.
Looking forward to having a conversation with you. I'm getting a little bit of feedback. Are you hearing me fine?
I'm having some feedback from you as well. On my end. You see, I know he's going to be telling all of that a little later, but let me just kind of preempt his conversation and what he's going to share with us. He's a podcaster like myself, right? And Stephen, obviously, you can't, once a podcast, you really can't get it out of them. So that's what he's doing now, showing off his podcasting equipment, his interview stuff and so on. But let me show you guys. Let me tell you something. Like, I had a friend came in my office the other day, my home office, right? Well, they came to the house and they were like, oh, I want to see your setup, right? And they were so anxious to see how elaborate my podcasting setup is going to be. And I said, let me just burst your bubble before you get into my office. Here is my setup. So let me show you my setup, guys. A microphone, ta-da, that's it. And this Mac computer. That's all it is. Simple, right? I don't get all technical like Stephen is getting all technical up there. But that's fine. I ain't gonna hate. So Stephen.
Heneka, make sure that you have Facebook open right now.
Yes, I have Facebook open.
So my guess is check to make sure that the video there doesn't have volume on. So is it mute?
My volume here is mute. Yeah.
The live is mute. Okay. I'm not getting the feedback now. Are you hearing me fine?
I'm hearing you better. Sure.
Awesome. Awesome.
All right. So guys, so let me tell you quickly about myself. Today isn't really about me, right? So as you know, I'm Heneka Watkis-Porter, and in my professional life, I wear a few hats, maybe too many hats, right? So one of them is the founder and CEO of Patwa Apparel. So if you know about, and Steven is wearing a Patwa shirt, yeah? It says what a go on, right? What a go on. It's Jamaican expressions, and I put an interpretation in English and so on, right? So the Patwa Apparel brand, and I'm also a podcaster. I write books, I speak, I do all those lovely things. I believe in inspiration and motivation. And so on HenekaWatkis-Porter.com, you'll find all of that. But today on every other Sunday, I just chill a bit with some friends and find some new ones who have run away from Jamaica, right? To just kind of find out why they left, what's going on when they left, and what they're up to, and how are they, most importantly, making an impact on the world stage, right? We're Jamaicans, and everywhere we go, we jaminate. So Stephen, right back to you now, right? So welcome everybody, Akilia, yeah? Welcome everybody who is watching us right here. Natalie, hey Natalie! We had Natalie 2 weeks ago, and she's here supporting, checking in. I know she and Stephen are friends, so she's hanging out, and she's my newfound friend, so she's hanging out with us. Yeah. Power girl, more power to you. So Stephen, yeah man, it's all about you now. Talk to us about your background in Jamaica. What was childhood like for you?
Sure. So born and raised in Kingston, and
under the clock.
So I grew up in Kingston, went to St. George's, I graduated from St. George's, and then moved here. Taking it back to childhood. I'm the son of a chef. Carl Hart of the Pantry is my dad, still in Jamaica. And, just grew up oldest of a couple kids. And my parents split when I was probably about 7. And so I spent quite a bit of time visiting Florida at an early age in my summer breaks to spend time with family. I have a good bit of family in Florida. And it just became the custom that, summer would break and I would spend time there. And fast forward, I ended up finishing George's and thought I was going away for a summer break and didn't quite come back. And so that's what ended up, channeling, taking me away from Jamaica, as you've said a minute ago.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so when you just left Jamaica, what was it really like for you? I mean, you're leaving, did you find the culture to be different? Do you recognize as being different? And what was it like for you, really?
Great question. So, again, coming back to it, I'd been visiting Florida, every summer from I was probably 8 or 9 years old. So it wasn't a drastic shift or adjustment in that light. Actually, did what I was doing for several summers before. So I don't think I had as much a culture shift there, or really a shock to hard change. It was something I was accustomed to doing for quite a bit before. And mind you, I moved this Tuesday, July 4th, marks 24 years since I migrated to the States. So I've been here for a long time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But going back to that point in time, again, it was more of a summer break, and that ended up, channeling into me realizing that it was a better place for me to stay in South Florida. I had a good bit of family there, so it wasn't that I was in a location or that I didn't know anyone. I had tons of aunts and cousins and uncles in South Florida, and ended up anchoring myself with one of my uncles there, and got into Miami-Dade. I started community college there. So I wouldn't tell you that it was a difficult transition in that light. Actually worked out just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
And yeah,
I would say I was young, right? Because I
yes,
finished school at 16.
you
And
left high school at 16.
right, if anything, left it farm at 16. And if anything was definitely difficult in that transition time, it was the fact that you're essentially in college at 16 and couldn't do many of the things that typical freshmen at 18 were able to, get involved socially. I didn't really have that great of a social experience for the first maybe year and a half being there. So,
Yeah. Okay. So I kind of want to get from you like your college experience, more of your college experience and who you are today and how that experience transformed you and positioned you into the person you are today. So you're going to share and, just tell us what it is that you're doing and that how that experience, made you into who you are today.
Right. So, again, coming back to it, I'm the son of a chef and an entrepreneur. My dad today runs a catering company. My mom's always been in the sales world. And so naturally, I was always inclined from day one to have a business mindset, to have a mindset wired towards doing my own thing on some level. And
Mm-hmm.
so going into college, I didn't quite know what I wanted to do long term, but I knew that it likely was going to involve business. And so I pursued a degree. I ended up, like I said, attending Miami-Dade when when I migrated here to Miami, and ended up getting, securing an associate's inside of a year, and transferred. I'd gotten opportunities to stay in Miami, but had another relative that was actually attending the University of South Florida in Tampa, and I was courted by one of the people there at the time in multicultural affairs at USF, and and, secured a scholarship and continued on, transferred to Tampa. And that was a difficult transition initially because there again, I only had one relative versus knowing the world in South Florida.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, Tampa wasn't what it probably is today. It was still on the cusp of becoming a more developed city. Today, it's booming and doing great things. But I didn't know many people there, and that was really probably if there was a shock period, right? It probably came in that first 6 months or so living in Tampa. But I pursued, I transferred and continued to work on a business degree. I ended up securing a bachelor's degree in business management from USF. Now I have a younger sister who's 4 years, almost exactly 4 years younger than me. And she migrated almost exactly when I was graduating. So where a lot of people at that point in time were prepared to kind of move on from Tampa and probably come back south. My sister came in almost right at that point in time and came there primarily because I was in Tampa. So I couldn't get up and leave, right?
Right.
It somewhat anchored me in Tampa at that point. And I ended up getting a job, getting several jobs, kind of, going through a period of trying to find myself and find my placing with a business management degree and not really having clarity on what I'd wanted to do with my life at that point in time. Heneka went through a cycle of probably 10 or 12 jobs over a 3 or 4 year period. I would just job hop for a good bit. And eventually found my footing in the mortgage industry at a point where, I really needed to kind of just settle down and find a place to anchor. And it was great. I ended up in the service end of the mortgage industry for a bit and then ended up moving into more of a sales role. And it was amazing. I had an amazing opportunity during that period where mortgages were on the rise, right? And pre-crisis, pre-2008. And, I'd say by about 2006, I started my first business.
Right. And what was that business?
Ran my own company. Well, we started initially doing real estate and eventually got into financial services, and I ran a trading advisory for about 7 years with a partner of mine. Eventually got out in the end of 2011 and got back into the financial world. Mortgages at that point in time were so different. And one of the things I realized I enjoyed about running my own business was marketing. And so, I began consulting with a couple different businesses. And fast forward to today, it ended up, providing me a base of, people that I work with today as, a consultant and as a coach. And as well, I'm also a marketing and communications manager for a software company here in Maryland. I live in Maryland outside of DC.
Okay,
right?
so hold that thought. Let's take a break right here. We've been talking with Stephen Hart. And Stephen Hart is a Jamaican, awesome person who has left Jamaica 24 years now, living in the United States. And yes, let me just take this moment to just big up all my peeps who have been saying hello to us. So you are watching Heneka Watkis-Porter live on Jamaicans.com. And Xavier Murphy, if you are watching, good evening to you. You're the boss. You've created such an amazing platform for Jamaicans around the world to connect. Don't ever discount the value of what you've created. It's an amazing thing that you've done. I've seen you work over time. Cheers, right? Watched it grow, and you are doing awesome stuff. So yes, we are on that platform, Jamaicans.com. And every 2 weeks we bring somebody on. Now, Be Live TV, they were in the beta testing phase, and they're now onto the subscription, gone on to subscription. where we have to pay to use this platform in the next time around that we're on board. So here's the thing. We are asking persons, if you want us to continue this show, come on board as sponsor. You have a product, you have something, and it's very low cost. You can contact me, contact Jamaicans.com. There's opportunity for product placement. If you want this to continue, where you get to hear the stories of all these Jamaicans, amazing Jamaicans around the world who are doing great stuff. Want it to continue? Hook us up and come on board as a sponsor. And tell us even what would you want us to tweak, to make the show your show. Because I'm just a facilitator, really. We want to hear from you. We want you to just tell us what you want to hear. I know somebody asked earlier, let me see who it was, how you start a podcast. And of course, you are talking with you're watching two podcasters, so yeah. And Stephen, all in his equipment and gear and everything ready. So he will probably touch on that briefly when he begins to, and then probably send you where it is that you can get official lessons and learn how to really start a podcast. Because Stephen will also tell you, it's an amazing opportunity to connect with persons, build your brand, and get your name out there and just change the world, and connect not just people in Jamaica, wherever you are, but wherever you are in the world, a podcast can take you global. So yes. So thank you so much for tuning in. Big up to Marjorie, Janice, D. Cruz says hi from Providence. Ellie Man says, I love Jamaica. Janice, hello from Plantation, Florida. Marjorie says, hello. Natalie, hi guys. Yeah, we did that already. And so many of you. Of course, my guest later on is Stephen Hart. And I am Heneka Watkis-Porter. Now, you were talking about you're working with software company and you marketing and all of that. So yes, take us a little more through along that journey of yours as it relates to, your career choices and stuff.
Sure. So, I've honed a heart for marketing over the last 5 or 6 years.
Sorry, what did you do, Steve? Because now I'm not hearing you clearly. There's a crack going on here.
What did you do? I haven't done anything. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
All right, cool. So you can't blame me. I don't move the microphone at all. It's pretty much stationary. But
Okay.
but so I've been in marketing pretty much, like I said, full time since like 2012.
Mm-hmm.
And really enjoying it. I have a heart for helping small brands as well as the company that I'm working with right now, being able to really understand the value that they can give to people who they want to work with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Able to highlight and articulate, what that is. I like to say I'm a brand first marketer. It's shifting with digital, right?
Yeah.
And today, there's so much more involved in being able to effectively understand who you're working with, who your customers are, and how to provide value to them. So, I've been doing that, like I said, for the software company for 3.5 years. And about 2 years ago, the Jamaican in me, who, can't sit still with one job, I always consume content from podcasts, and always thought they need to start one, but I didn't quite know what it was that I really wanted to do. If I started one, there are so many marketing podcasts already out there.
All right. Before you go to a podcast, right? Before you go into that, I need to shift it a little.
All right.
Because I know that some nosy people around like myself want to know about the whole family. How did you meet Mrs. Hart? Tell us a little bit about that. Give us a little juice,
Sure.
Yeah, family. Yeah, when did that happen?
So this week I celebrated 9 years of marriage, which is pretty awesome and pretty crazy at the same time, to see how quickly time flies by. But
9 years, congrats.
Thank you. So I was living in Tampa at the time, and my wife is actually from here. Like I said a few minutes ago, I live in Maryland, just outside of Washington D.C., and she's from here. She grew up here, but was actually attending a housewarming of a close friend of mine in Tampa,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where we met. We met in distance.
That's where the warmth began, at the housewarming.
Yeah, she wanted to make a meal for this housewarming,
Uh-huh.
um, and there are too many chefs in the kitchen at the house she was staying at where the housewarming was taking place. So I, offered up my kitchen, and the rest is history.
Okay, Stephen.
Became
And
friends, and I've been here. Actually, moved here 10 years ago this September.
mhm.
So yeah,
Okay. And so how many kids?
two amazing crumb snatchers. I have a 7-year-old,
Yeah.
7-year-old girl, and my son will be 3 next weekend.
Okay. And if they're around, you can snatch them. We don't mind.
Actually, they're all away today right
Oh,
now. They're
okay.
they're
No
on their
problem.
way home.
It's, yeah. So and family and stuff. How is that? How you? Because it's hard to balance life on a whole. I mean, I like to say that there is no such thing as balance, because if there's balance, then there's no movement.
Mhm.
My whole perspective of balance just shifted some time ago, because you don't want anything to be in balance. But anyway, that's another philosophy we don't want to necessarily get into right now. But yes, managing family with the job and with podcasting, which you're now going to just shift into. Tell us, what is a podcast and why did you begin doing that? Because that's where a lot of persons know you from, as a
Right,
podcaster, right?
right. So, to come back to the question you had a minute ago, I'm really happy to speak on this topic because, I pride myself on, first and foremost, being, a Christian man and being a family man. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Woo-hoo.
I'm a proud husband, to Mrs. Hart. And, I like to consider myself the best dad ever. And so those are things that are near and dear to me and priority one, right? So, it's God, my wife, my kids. Everything else is next, right? But those are things that, I'll hold near and dear to my heart. It's incredibly difficult now when you put that in the context of, okay, I'm married, I have 2 young kids, a young family, I'm working a full-time job, and then decided to pivot and add to that mix and become a podcaster,
Mm-hmm.
as well as other things that as I shared, I could do a good bit of consulting, in the marketing sphere as well. So I have a lot of hats, and a lot of moving pieces, but podcasting for me again. I launched Trailblazers. I'm the founder and host of the Trailblazers.fm podcast, and I'll share information about how you guys can connect to that. But initially I used to say it's a business podcast. I think it's become so much more. We are essentially exploring and highlighting successful Black professionals, be it people who are entrepreneurs and creatives, or people who are corporate leaders and thought leaders. And, I began this journey as a podcaster in February of last year. So it's now been a year and a half of podcasting, 75 episodes. I publish once a week, every Monday morning. And it's been an amazing, amazing journey, Heneka, to be able and probably to take 2 steps back, right? The reason why I started podcasting, my why, uh, came back to my kids. We live in a fast moving, noisy world right now, right? We're talking on social media, but none of us can walk around without a phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has a phone in their pocket. The moment you roll over in the morning, you're looking on newsfeed, right? And every moment, in your free moments, you get you on Twitter or wherever you are. And I found myself a couple years back, looking at newsfeed and everything that came through, whether it be digital or it be on the news or on the radio. I found myself in a cycle where every time I heard a story about someone who was black, it was a negative story.
Mm-hmm.
I began to really work at my inner core. Why was that the case, right? And where we used to hear, and still do hear positive stories in the mainstream media, it's oftentimes athletes or musicians, and those are the people that we're telling our kids they're role models, right?
Yeah.
And I live in a really great neighborhood here in Maryland, and I was looking around at other parents at my kids' daycare or at their schools, or just in my community, and I'm like, why aren't we sharing their stories, right? Why aren't we telling their tales, sharing what they're doing with their lives, right? Because truth be told, those are the people that our kids are more likely to become, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Can you sing, Stephen?
Can I sing?
Yeah.
No, I can act and I can dance, but singing was never my thing.
I was hoping you can sing because I need you to sing for 10 seconds. You know why? And this show, I can do this, right? I need to go fetch my charger for my. So you are gonna sing Jesus Loves Me Something for 10 seconds while I grab my charger. We're not gonna have any here.
No, but grab your charger, man. I can keep talking. So, is there anything any of you guys want to hear about? Some of these comments popping up on my side, so I'd be happy to answer any other questions that you have. You don't get the charger already, so you're good.
Yes, I ran.
I sang a whole song.
I know. I heard every bit of it, like every bit. Mm-hmm. Right, you were continuing. Sorry guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. So yes, so you were talking now about your why and all of that. So continue.
Yeah, and so that's really what fueled my heart for this podcast. I again, my daughter is now 7, so she's probably going on 5 at the time when this light bulb moment went off. And I thought, why aren't we highlighting the stories of people who, were in my environment, who I looked up to, also people who I went to college with, who were, 20 years, I'm just about 20 years old at college, but people who are doing really great things at this point in their career. And so I started off there, I started highlighting people around me and then quickly began talking with other people, that I would be introduced to through social media, through LinkedIn, and it just began this domino effect. And, we're now 75 episodes in, a year and a half later. And I've just been tremendously blessed from this platform. I was recognized by Black Enterprise magazine a year ago as one of their inaugural class of 100 modern men of distinction. This is a blessing. I've been featured now, a couple different times on the homepage of iTunes in their segment on Black Podcasters. And, there are tremendous accolades and achievements that I've been blessed with having started the platform. But I have to tell you, the biggest blessing in this has been the people who have reached out to me and said, I hit play every Monday morning and these stories are helping me, to transform my path. It's helping me to blaze my trail. And, and surprisingly, I thought that the people who were actually going to find tremendous value in hearing these stories, right, would have probably been younger adults coming out of college, right, and looking to be inspired by someone a couple steps ahead, Well,
Mhm.
what ended up happening was that our community today is largely represented by people who are also experienced professionals who are just happy to be able to hear somebody else that looks like them and sounds like them that's crushing it, and it's fuel to be able to push. You know, one of the things I looked at when I was doing research for the podcast was the fact that the fastest growing segments, you might notice, the fastest growing segments of entrepreneurs today are black women.
Mhm.
You know that.
Mhm.
So everyone out there, the fastest growing segment of entrepreneurs today in the United States is black women. Entrepreneurs also represent one of the highest failure rates amongst entrepreneurs, and that's really sad to me. You know,
Mhm.
and one of the reasons, as I was digging into that, one of the reasons I found that that was happening is that oftentimes within our community, we're not reaching down and helping the next person up. You know, we figure out how to succeed, right? And we contain everything to ourselves. Like, you know, if someone else were to succeed, it's going to deplete our success,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And we weren't sharing information, right? So this also became fuel. And tell you what, over and over again, I have featured guests who are happy to be able to pour out because that happened to them. Over and over again, I hear people reaching out to me saying, yo, you know, this is inspiring because I'm able to get that information. I'm able to get, you know, mission fuel every week, nuggets of wisdom that helping me to know what kind of books I should be reading, you know, what kind of mindset I should be framing, you know, and being able to, you know, come together as a community and really work on ways to blaze your own trail, right? So that's the podcast. You know, for me, it's been just amazing. You know, we just crossed 50,000 downloads in 100 countries, and as a side gig, I'm tremendously blessed that a
Oh,
year and a half in.
guys, that is amazing. I'm a podcast. I just started in March of this year. And I know it's no easy feat to get that many downloads. You must be doing something right, and to be on that path. Now, Tony is asking, how did you manage to start up your business? That's one question. What was your motivation? Is her other question. And she's also asking, would you go back to Jamaica and do a podcast show with Heneka Porter? Well, I guess let me take the third part of your question. In terms of a podcast, so we both have our own podcast, as you would have heard me said, and he wouldn't even need to go to Jamaica to come back to Jamaica if we were to do a show together. And that's the beauty of podcast, which is going to lead me into asking you now, Stephen, to share with our viewers what is a podcast, and then you can go into answering the question about your motivation and how you manage to set that up. It really is a business, and of course he started other business before that. Again, another okay. So Tony's also asking. Tony's very active. Thank you so much, Tony. Who is your favorite person or group that you have interviewed?
So,
And this can be answered by me or you. She says, my favorite person who I've interviewed. No, the truth be told, I've interviewed a lot of so far great persons. In fact, I've interviewed persons for 1 year show already, up to May next year.
really,
And yeah, and I enjoy every single one of them. And that's not just me putting you off, Tony. The truth is, I really enjoy. I enjoy. There's some that I have like a heart to heart connection with. You know that, Stephen, that you'll be sitting with some guests and you have more of a connection with some over the other, right? But I really, honestly, can't pick a favorite. I don't know if Stephen can.
there's several. There's several favorites. I won't tell you that, you know, I connect to every guest
Yeah.
personally, but you know, there. To what you said just a minute ago, there are people who you connect with personally on several levels, right? Just recently, it's not a published episode yet, but had an interview where the guys in media is where I aspire to be. Also of Jamaican roots, and it's an interview. I've been courting this guy for a year and a half now, but he's a dad. He's a proud husband. In marketing, focused entrepreneur, and so there are so many connection points, right? That it was easy for us to have that conversation. And an hour later, we're like, can we get another hour? Because it was so much fun.
Yeah.
But there's so many stories that I have heard over this time. I tell people every day that I feel like in a year and a half of podcasting, I've gotten another college degree. In the wisdom that I've picked up from all these people over that period of time. It's been amazing.
Please hear all the guests, right? For the our listeners.
Yeah.
We're here.
Nice. Your business. What was your motivation? Would you go back to Jamaica and do a part? So, how did I manage to start up my business? So, Tony, great question. I think every business begins, every business that is able to be successful long term. I think there is one thing that you have to be clear on. Your business is not about you making money. I tell people this all the time. You don't start a business to make money. You start a business with a passion, a purpose, a vision, a mission. You have to know exactly why you are starting that business, right? I have clarity about your purpose and your why. And the reason for that is that if you don't have that, right? One, when things get hard, and they are going to get hard, they're going to get extremely tough, right? You're going to have sleepless nights. You're going to have repeated failures that happen, through that process. If you don't know why you're in it, you're going to quit. The business is going to fail, right? So, starting a business, and I shared with you my why for Trailblazers, right? Wanting to provide that platform for my kids, and then now, for us as a community, right? Providing that field for us to grow. That is really, something that carries me through. Again, this is something that happens after my full-time job, after my responsibilities as a husband and a father, right? This is what happens at 9 o'clock, at 10 o'clock at night when I'm exhausted at the end of a day and I have to cut an episode, right? There are many weekends where, I'm supposed to be, weekends are oftentimes the time where I have the 2 or 3 hours to edit an episode and deal with all that needs to happen to make sure the episode goes live on a Monday morning. There are many weekends I'm working a trade show, where I get to Sunday night and I don't have an episode. And I can tell you there have been nights where I go till my episodes drop at 5 a.m. And there have been Monday mornings at 3 a.m. I'm just finishing an episode, literally nodding and just determined to hit publish, right? So I don't, I've gone tomorrow morning will be episode 76. I've had 76 consecutive weeks of publishing. I've never missed a week. And that is dedication, but that is a lot of sacrifice. There's a lot of Sundays where I don't feel like it. I don't want any part of it, but it my why propelled me to be able to get that in place. You can relate to that?
Yeah, and you're doing an excellent job, Stephen. I must tell you that. I love everything about your podcast. I don't listen to every episode, mind you, but when I do get a chance to listen, it's really, really, really quality. I love the artwork, the graphics. It really is professionally done, and it does take dedication for you to do that, because what is happening, or persons here or guests or viewers rather, we must recognize that to put something out consistent, you have your name that is on the line, and persons are expecting that you say that you're delivering 5 a.m. on a Monday morning. There's an expectation that it must be done, and we have to honor. You have to honor that. I have to honor that. Every Wednesday, I schedule a couple episodes. Luckily, I'm doing my stuff full time, so I can, I don't have to be in those 3 a.m. that you're talking about. which but I have to make sure that I don't do it 1 minute past, because persons not just in Jamaica, persons all over the world are expecting that at a particular time, and the minute you slip up, you could even be publishing every single week and they're not listening. But the one time somebody goes to listen and they don't find it as they're not seeing it in their inbox or whatever because they've subscribed, then it doesn't augur well for what it is that we're doing. So it takes dedication. And yes, I still want you to also address the question, because believe it or not, though podcasting is quite popular in the US and in many parts of the world, in places like Jamaica, and other, you ask, I still get this. So what is a podcast? And what are you talking about? So yes, from your perspective, just share with our viewers what is a podcast. And of course, guys, if you're just joining us, you are watching Heneka Watkis-Porter live on Jamaicans.com. With me is Stephen Hart. He is multi-talented. He is a Jamaican who's now living in the United States of America, who's doing amazing stuff. And he's now going to tell us what is a podcast.
The easiest way, I don't want to overcomplicate this. A podcast is simply a radio program, a radio show that is on demand. You can access it on our website. On our website, for Trailblazers, our website tvpod.com. You could go there and watch, or I should say listen to an audio episode. Podcasts, for the most part, are 99% audio only. There are very few select podcasts that are actually video driven. They don't do tremendously well. So when you're talking about podcasts, we're talking about audio, right? We are talking about an on-demand, and a lot of people, primarily, podcasts began through iTunes as a product of Apple, right? So it began in iTunes. Today, you can access it if you have an Android phone. You can access it on Google Play. You can access it on iHeartRadio. You can access it on several apps. If you use, Amazon's Alexa, you can play it through Alexa on TuneIn or iHeartRadio. So there are several apps, right, that you have access to be able to download and listen to a podcast. And the beautiful thing about it, and why people, a lot of my listeners, they are able to listen to it consistently at the time it's convenient for them. It's not like a morning radio show that, if you're listening to the Tom Joyner morning show on the radio, right, or Steve Harvey, right, you need to be in your car at a certain time if there's a certain segment you like, right? In the case of a podcast, you're downloading it. It's there for you when you're in a gym, or when you're on a morning walk or run, or when you're at a certain part in your workday and you have the freedom, right, to be able to listen while you're doing something else. I multitask a great deal. I'm a podcast consumer. I listen to a number of podcasts, and oftentimes, I'll zone out while I'm doing design-related work, and just consume stories from people. So the simplest way to think of it is radio in your pocket, and that it's a platform that allows you to listen to content when you want it. Think of YouTube without the video, just audio, right? You can hit play whenever you want.
Stephen?
Yeah, man.
What's your vision for Jamaica?
What's my vision for Jamaica?
Jamaicans, yeah. What do you want to see? I know that and there's no one that has left here and just said no, them done with Jamaica. No matter what them there and them cuss it, they leave, and it's all nostalgia, and they want the best. All of a sudden, everybody wants the best for Jamaica, and it was always in them, really. But it's just a matter of leaving, and it becomes now, because you're no longer in the situation. You have a stronger desire to see the advancement of your country, because it really is your home, no matter what.
It is. Absolutely is. And I still have a ton of family at home. I still have a heart for Jamaica, no matter it being 24 years. And it's a great question, right? In my role as a marketer and as a designer and a brand person, For several years now, I've used online freelancer platforms like Upwork and like Fiverr to hire people to do odd jobs for me. And all
Mhm.
too often, I've seen where countries like India, countries like the Philippines, Bangladesh, have really invested in their people and infrastructure to allow them the opportunity to be able to look for job opportunities globally by
Mhm.
getting the right skills to be able to position themselves to apply for jobs via these platforms, via Upworks and Fiverr and so on. And the majority of the people who are hiring people are in the United States, or in UK, or in Europe. And so the currency is strong, right? I have not yet seen where Jamaica has invested in the infrastructure, in the education, pushing the education towards giving them those skill sets to be
Mhm.
ready. Right? We don't have any problems getting on the internet. Every Jamaican is like hardcore on Facebook, on wherever online, right? And
Right.
we're a very well educated population compared to other places. We're also, in a great time zone, right?
Mhm.
Half the year you're on the same time zone as the East Coast. These are all advantages, right? To being able to position yourself to take advantage of those opportunities. But we are educating people on graphic design, on web design, on all these other services that Jamaicans could be providing, right, for a lot of money, right? And so those jobs go to the Philippines and go like right now. I actually have a contractor in the Philippines that does work for my software company, and
Yeah.
in a few minutes after I jump off of this, I'm communicating with them about a project, right? Because it's your Monday morning. But
Mhm.
I would love to be able to find, qualified people in Jamaica who I could be giving that same currency to, right?
Mhm.
And giving that work to. And I think it's a way of the future, it is to be able to, for people to move to more work from home, for businesses. It reduces their overhead, right? And so that's my hope for Jamaica is that we begin to look at the global opportunity that presents
Right.
itself and be
Right.
able to position our kids coming up to be educated, to be armed with the skills that they need, the talents that they need, positioning them to be able to know how to apply for those jobs and those opportunities. And
Right.
I think it would elevate our nation as a whole to be able to bring that money in to the country.
Mhm.
That's my
Right. Because we do, and the truth is, we do have amazing people. I think
yeah,
what is missing is the is a push, as it were, from the powers that be to really invest what
abs-
is necessary into our people, because we have potential. We're not short of that.
absolutely, absolutely. We speak. I'm biased, but I've been hiring. I've hired people over the last 5 or 6 years, and there have been one or two people I've hired from Jamaica. In that time, a lot of that money goes to India. A lot of that money goes to the Philippines, and you see those countries.
Mhm.
It's coming from the top, as you said a minute ago, right? They're positioning their people to be able to take advantage of those opportunities. Why can't we? We're so much better positioned to be able to take those take those roles on and move them, move the chain, right?
Mhm. Final thoughts you want to share with us, Stephen?
I would love to invite everyone listening and Heneka, thank you so very much for doing this, putting this platform in place for Jamaicans to share their story. I've had fun talking with you. I'd love to invite anyone listening still to visit Trailblazers. Again, we're online at TV Pod. TV is in Trailblazer. Pod is in podcast, so tvpod.com. Hop on over there. I'm everywhere online at TV Pod, so you can follow me on Instagram or Twitter. Tweet it up. That's how Heneka and I got connected. And I ended up getting a little patois apparel going.
Yeah.
But
uh,
yeah, definitely hit me up on social. I'd love to connect with you. Thank you so much for all the great questions. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to engage with anyone and help out in any way I possibly can.
mhm. Amazing, amazing. It has been my absolute pleasure, Stephen,
Thank you.
to have you on. Of course, you have, I'm sure, inspired those who are watching to just make positive change and keep being awesome. Guys, you're so awesome. You are awesome. Don't ever forget that for one moment, how awesome you are.
Heneka, as you said that, hold on one second.
Sure,
This
sure.
morning, and I keep in my heart. My pastor said something to me this morning that really rests with me because I'm a person that believes in gratitude, right? Every day, daily gratitude. But he said just because you're blessed, and actually, I don't even want to mess this up. Let me read this to you.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I take my notes in church and on Evernote, my Evernote junkie. But
Oh,
but I want to share this with you because it impacted me today. And as we close out, said just because you're blessed
mhm.
doesn't mean you're grateful. Just because
Oh,
doesn't mean you're
mhm.
grateful, guys. We are blessed. You're blessed. You are blessed. Beyond words, you're blessed. You're healthy. You're awake right now. You're alive right now. You're listening to this. You're fed. There's so much that we have to be grateful for, and we should all be grateful, and recognizing just that, right? So as you step into your week, as Heneka said, you're awesome. Believe it, right? And step into your week, step into this coming week, knowing that you have an amazing opportunity to impact someone, to change a life, right? So stay humble, always keep believing, always keep pushing, and blaze your trail, right? So um, I'll stop there.
Well, we could certainly have another session of motivation and inspiration. In fact, that's what I am about. That's what Stephen is about. And again, thank you, Stephen. I just want to say, and most importantly, thank you, thank you, thank you to all our viewers. I appreciate you. You're appreciated. You are special. You're awesome, as I said before. And you can I'm going to give you another opportunity, Stephen, after I'm done here, to share your or you did share, but just share it again, have the final say in terms of your website and stuff, so people can catch your podcast, download and so on, subscribe, rate, review, everything.
Yeah.
And also, guys, yes, my podcast is The Entrepreneurial You. Let me share that with you. And you can also find me on, as a matter of fact, let me just give you my website, which is henekawatkisporter.com. Of course, that lovely t-shirt that Stephen has is from patoisapparel.com. So let me just, this is where I should have put it. I tell you, I'm still figuring out this app. But don't worry, guys. Don't worry. I will eventually get it. Right. So henekawatkisporter.com is where you can find my podcast and my books and so on. And if you want to hook me up after we're done here, certainly you can send a message on Jamaicans.com or Patois Apparel, or look for Heneka Watkis-Porter. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Love you all. See you in another 2 weeks. Stephen, remind us again of your websites.
Yes. So guys, you're gonna go over to tbpod.com and you're gonna subscribe. If you guys are on an Apple device, you have I was actually looking for the podcast cover, but you have the ability to just go to tbpod.com. Everything is there. You'll be able to see links right on the homepage to any of the apps, and it will take you directly there. So if you open your cell phone right now or open your desktop right now, hop on over to tbpod. I'm on Instagram at tbpod. I'm on Twitter at at TD Pod as well. And personally, I'm at Stephen A. Hart as well on all the platforms. So reach out to me. I'd love, love, love to be able to connect with you and help out, help answer any other questions that you guys might have. So looking forward.
Okay. We have 3 minutes, guys. If there's anyone of you, we can take one question. If there's anyone of you who have a burning question that you want either myself or Stephen to address, you can go right ahead and do that. I'm right here.
While Tony, you had some great questions today. Thank you so very much. If you're still listening, I encourage you guys to, whatever it is that we all define success differently, right? Whatever it is that you're looking to do in your walk, that, will help you to blaze your trail. Start small, but start right now. Don't give yourself an excuse anymore. Start this week. Start small, think big, right? Dream big. Wake up, but you have to wake up and you have to actually take action. You can't just keep dreaming, right? So, start small, think big, and take action, right? Results happen in planning, not in results happen in action, not in planning, right? So
exactly. Totally concur.
Yeah. So, I I am pushing myself always to do new things in that light, and that's how I end up getting through each and every day, right? Is just to take steps, right? Organize your thoughts and step into each thing, and just have the faith. You're gonna fail, as I said earlier in the call, but failure is just a lesson, right? That over time, right, you get better each and every time, and so start small, think big, and then eventually you'll scale fast.
All right, I'm looking to see if I see any question, but I'm not seeing any. I guess we've covered everything that they want to hear.
Right.
And also, let me just put in the comments here for the Trailblazers podcast. Go to
pod.com.
tbpod.com. Right. Yes. Awesome. Okay, awesome. Guys, that's it. Yes, it's 7:00 and we've been here for 1 hour. And we don't discount this Sunday afternoon, and you could be doing a million and one things, and you came here. That is amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you, Stephen. Love you, everybody. Xavier, big up yourself. Remember, guys, you can advertise with us, link us. Is there if you want a product mention or something, or you have something that's happening, come on board with us. All right. Thank you so much. Have a good evening. Walk good. Are we still live? No, we're off. Now we're off. Whew. about me? I am finished. Yeah. Huh? Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's not. I'm still there.